Many college students face the challenge of not knowing where to vote during the election. ASU's Tempe campus is changing that. Any event in which you find yourself in a life-threatening situation and someone may be bleeding, knowing how to apply a tourniquet could save a life. Nonprofits like the Arizona Farm Bureau come into schools to teach students a better way to approach food. Schools like RSI have females in their programs who are taking part in HVAC and welding. There are over 170,000 people living with Alzheimer's in Arizona and southern Nevada. In the broadcast center, Taniyah Williamson, Cronkite News. The Tri-University Tour has held 23 events this year. The next event will be held on October 4th at Yuma Catholic High School. Welcome to this Cronkite News update here on Facebook Live. I'm Taniyah Williamson. Here are the top stories that we're tracking today at noon. As a state, we will be electing our first female senator. So I would imagine that so many first-time voters are just excited that they're playing a role in what is going to be history by the end of tonight.
The ballot I got in the mail is for the wrong party.
Kate Collick was among many Maricopa County residents who reported having issues with voting during the primary election this past August.
And they kept saying, well, you can do the provisional ballot. And I said, no, I don't want to do a provisional ballot. That's why I get it in the mail, so I don't have to stand in a long line.
Maricopa County Recorder Adrian Fontes met with the media today to ensure that voters would have a much easier time voting in the upcoming November election.
Because we've got equipment staged at locations all over Maricopa County to deploy in case these sorts of situations happen.
County Recorder Adrian Fontes spoke of ways that his office plans to improve the voting process. Among the solutions is making sure equipment is up and running at polling places before they open, and a way to monitor whether lines are getting too long.
I'll stand here and say technology doesn't solve everything, but it sure as heck does solve the biggest problem, and that is convenience and accessibility for voters, right? Having one option versus having 40 plus one options, I don't know how that's a bad thing. I just don't.
Fontes says there will be more than 40 voting centers throughout Maricopa County, which are meant to provide voters with more options outside of their precincts. In downtown Phoenix, Taniyah Williamson, Cronkite News.
So originally, I don't see a problem with these voter report cards, but I think that has to do with the fact that I vote.
So that information is floating around on the different applications, and so this just makes it accessible to everybody, that they could use that information and ask their friends. So it brings it kind of down to the ground.
The new app, Vote With Me, is sponsored by a series of mostly Democratic voter advocacy groups. It claims to help you identify your friends who need a little extra encouragement to get to the polls by checking out their record and sending pre-written texts. But the effort isn't only online. Mailers from an organization called the Voter Participation Center go out to homes across the valley. It can identify your neighbors who haven't voted consistently.
Like on an app, you would know, who your friend was, but this was going out kind of in an unsafe way. I would feel unsafe if I had that at my door.
But where some see fear, others see a source of pride.
So, when I get these report cards, it just reaffirms that I'm doing my part and I'm trying to be heard and, doing what I can do to make a difference in my area.
I don't know what it is, but something about the noises, the smells, getting dirty and gritty, and just making fires and grinding stuff. It's just, I love it.
Emily Donahue took on welding classes to improve her skills as an artist.
I felt more intimidated about my personal standpoint of learning it rather than being outnumbered gender-wise. So I've always been able to scrap it with the boys pretty well.
Schools like RSI have females in their programs who are taking part in HVAC and welding. Melissa Hayes worked in the health field before making a career change.
It just wasn't for me. So with welding, you still interact with people, but I just like to disappear underneath the hood and just, put my work in that way.
Hayes says welding isn't just about the personal freedom, it offers her better income.
I have a son I want to provide for, and this is very good earning potential.
According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average annual income of a welder is just more than $40,000. For some of the men at RSI, having women part of the team is an added bonus.
The women are really big on safety, and they'll take that extra step to do a job done right the first time, as opposed to taking a shortcut and trying to minimize the time it takes to do a job.
For Emily Donahue, being a woman is only one factor. She just wants to weld.
I'm kind of excited, more of a challenge than anything, to get out there and to be the minority in this field.
In Phoenix, Taniyah Williamson, Cronkite News.